Hello everyone, welcome back to the shop and welcome back to the saga of the Iron Oak. So, last we left off, we were building the base, then the rings to strengthen the base, and then the beginnings of the trunk where the hub attached to all the limbs. Well, one day there'll be limbs. This piece is gonna be quite abstract, meaning it's gonna be a collection of linear lines that kind of duck and weave together, creating that illusion of movement. So I'm really excited to start filling in this space. Doing this kind of work is actually very difficult because you're holding onto a bar and you're trying to strike an arc down by your feet, and it makes sure it doesn't move the entire time. It's a bit of a pain, and I cannot wait for one day to build the big shop next door, to get an extra pair of hands in here, maybe several hands. I'm at the point now where I need help, but I don't know how to ask for it yet, nor do I have the space for it yet, but one day. There are definitely some dangerous moments whenever I'm working alone because you just gotta kind of figure out how to do something specific. So there was a moment where I had to get up and weld with 7018 up where one of the bars tied into the actual top of the trunk, and it was gonna be a real pain to get up in there. I was like, oh no, I could just push the thing on its side. If that would have got out of control on me, it would have been real ugly. So the safety hazards are definitely not lost on me, but when you're in the moment and you got work to do, it's hard to resist. Now, Mission San Antonio is a beautiful and heavily historical spot, about an hour from me here in Paso Robles, California. The reason I'm building this tree is to commemorate donors that helped retrofit over the last almost decade to retrofit this place so that visitors can return and appreciate the history of this site. The entire canopy above is going to be composed of copper leaves stamped with all of the names of all these donors. But when it came to building up this tree, I wanted there to be a very special place for a lot of very special donors for the retrofit. And how cool would it be for a big knot, right? Every storybook I've ever read, every tree I've ever drawn as a child, there was always a cool knot because it entails history. So I wanted to make the knot very special and stamp in a lot of the bigger donors' names. So I fired up the coal forge for a nice big heat. I brought it into my flatting table. I took the 16-pound straight peen and I just came down with all of the wrath I could muster to create just a starburst effect. And actually it's funny because some of my neighbors were kind of concerned, thinking I lost my temper or something. No, I just needed texture. I want to see struggle in the tree. It can't just be smooth iron. No. And especially the perimeter around it needs to be just chunky. Now I use the table rather than my anvil is because when I'm going on this thing with two hands, it's gonna be very difficult for me to keep it on the anvil. If I had another pair of hands, I would have them hold hold it in place with a pair of tongs to be able to move with me. You know, a dog wouldn't have done it because I needed to move way more. So I was just kind of chasing it around on my flattening table that's about 1.5 inch plate. And that worked out dandy. Yeah, and the coal forge, I mean, it's excellent for this big steel because I need that stuff hot to be able to move it the way I want to be doing it. To pack all of that material and texture on that edge, to take 3/8 to 1 inch, you know, just really move it around, especially, you know, move it the hard way, work it around, and then bend it the easy way, all the way it comes around to make that beautiful oval. It came around so nice that I didn't even place a weld there because I love how perfect that seam turned out. Now, when it comes to, you know, laying out your stamps, there's a lot of math involved. And I hated math class as a kid, probably much like a lot of you, but it's very important stuff to center everything, make sure it's all lined up, because do you remember taking notes as a kid or something like that? And then, you know, you're writing, and then all of a sudden you reach the margin of the pages, and then you continue down. You can't do that here. So I had to make sure everything was planned out perfectly. Now this lovely little tool, what came in greatly handy, I actually built this specifically for this job because I knew I was gonna be doing a lot of stamp work. And it's nice because it keeps 3 in a row, nice and straight, and I can come down with a big hammer and get it all laid out. If you actually want to see me build this thing, I did it on another video. Go check it out. So once I had the plate all stamped out, textured and stamped, then I had to bring around that ring that kind of frames the whole thing, right? It's the scar where a limb used to be. Then was the fun, you know, task to bring those two together. It takes a little bit of trimming. I ran it long on purpose so that I could really make sure I get that absolutely perfect line, bring those two edges together, and it just couldn't be better. So my placement of the knot on the tree, it's actually where there's a lot of thought in this. Because sure, it's important for adults to be able to see, you know, who brought this retrofit to be, but also I wanted it to be at height where kids can see. You know, I feel like so often that this world is kind of built for adults, which, I mean, it makes sense, right? But I do want to show kids and youth that steel can be moved just like clay, to just get up close and see where a hammer was struck with intense force with incredibly hot steel and just see how it can move. Now that we have the base in place, the hub in place, and then now the knot, now I can just go. I can now just move the steel the way I want it to move. I pretty much my checklist is empty. Now all I have to do is just fill the space and in all of the wonderful textures, shapes, and curves that I can imagine. Now the retrofit project chair, he went down towards like the roots of the whole thing because it kind of all started with him and his team to, get this place to where people can return to it. And of course I have to sign it myself, because, I built the thing. Another intensely useful tool in this, position that I was in is my portaband, a portable bandsaw, where I'm able to mark and just easily cut like butter through this 4 by 3/8 bar and get it exactly trued up where I want it to be. Alice is just the perfect tool for this job, and there's some times where I need a little bit of a tweak, and I used like this, that round swedge over there to really kind of, finesse exactly the curve that I wanted to get it exactly where I needed it to be. I've always found that it's very important, even if you're proud of it or not, to always sign your work, because one day it's going to become very important to you to, have your legacy, to have, your repertoire be recognized. Now, when it came to stamping my name, I didn't want it to be just up front. I wanted it to be kind of hidden because I wanted you to appreciate the other people involved in this project, this retrofit, before you see mine. I put mine kind of out to the side and down low. We'll see if anybody catches it or not. With the trunk complete, now comes the really fun part. The one that I've been anticipating for a long time is the limbs. To divide into my entire workspace into 3 subsections where each limb is going to pretty much fill. The limbs are going to meander and work their way through, not just kind of no, they're gonna flex their muscles and they're gonna work their way around, and they're gonna meander. Some are gonna go good this way, and then the others are gonna go that way and this way again, and then some are gonna go up and then down. It's gonna be so much fun to just live and breathe through this tree. So I measured out 12 feet from center, and I put down plumb bobs into those 3 sections, just as my relative target, so that it fills the space almost evenly, but the route that each limb takes is gonna differ wildly. I am greatly looking forward to this next section because now we can really start making it look like a tree as opposed to just a stump. I anticipate great triumphs, challenges, joy. Oh, and I want to share it all with you. And as always, my friends, thank you for watching.